For centuries, the Igbo people have whispered the name of Allah, the powerful earth goddess who watched over life, death, and justice. Join us as we uncover the myths, legends, and eternal presence of this revered deity, a force that still lingers beneath our feet. The night is still, save from the rhythmic beating of drums carried by the whispering wind. The scent of burning herbs linger in the air, mixing with the dampness of earth. Somewhere in the shadows, the elders sit cross-legged around the sacred fire, their voices hushed yet filled with reverence. Tonight, they speak of the one who has always been, Allah, the earth itself. Beneath the vast sky of ancient Igbo land, where the rivers whispered secrets and the forests hummed with unseen spirits, there lies a power older than the stones and deeper than the roots of the great Iroko tree. She is Allah, the Great Mother, the silent judge, the unshakable force that breathes life into the land and death into those who dare to defy her. To the Igbo people, Allah is not just a deity, she is existence itself. The elders say that to walk upon the land is to walk upon her skin, to plant a seed is to rest within her womb. Every stream, every hill, every stretch of fertile ground is hers. She is the breeze within the wind, the warmth of the sun, and the cool embrace of the night. But Allah is not just benevolent, she is justice incarnate. To defile her land is to invite her fury, and when Allah is angered, the ground trembles in warning. Her worship is older than the written word, older than the kingdoms that would one day rise upon the land she created. She is the balance between life and death, the silent watcher of all things. To the unknowing, she is merely a name whispered in reverence, but to those who have felt her presence, in the rumble of the earth beneath their feet, in the way the trees lean as if listening, in the quiet of the graveyard where spirits rest, she is everything. Her stories are etched into the hearts of the people, carried by the winds that bend the tall grasses, and whispered by the spirits of the dead who dwelt within her sacred embrace. This is her tale, a tale of power, justice, and the eternal balance of life and death. Allah's story is more than just myth. It's a powerful reminder that the earth watches, remembers, and delivers justice. Stay with us as we journey deeper into her origins, her rise to power, and the legacy that still shapes the world today. Before the world took shape, before the rivers carved their paths and the mountains stretched toward the sky, there was only the void. It was neither light nor darkness, neither air nor earth, a vast nothingness, infinite and silent, waiting to be filled, and in the midst of this great abyss, a force stirred. From the eternal silence, Allah emerged. She was not simply born, she was the very essence of creation itself. Her form rose from the void, her skin as dark and rich as the earth yet to be made. Her eyes burned like twin suns, seeing all that would ever be. Her breath carried the whisper of life, and her heartbeat echoed across the abyss, calling forth the world from nothingness. She stretched out her hands, and where her fingers touched, the earth took form. Mountains erupted from the nothingness, valleys opened their arms, and rivers gushed forth from the spaces between her palms. Her feet pressed into the emptiness, and from her steps the soil was born. Each motion of her hands, each breath from her lips, shaped the world into being. She was not merely a goddess, she was the earth itself. But creation could not exist without order. Allah understood that life required balance. The existence was fragile without laws to guide it. And so from the very foundation of world, she set forth the first and greatest commandment, Nusa Allah, the sacred law, the divine order, the unbreakable code of the land. Under Nusa Allah, all things were given their rightful place. The rivers knew their paths, the trees knew their heights, and the winds knew their course. Life was nurtured in harmony, for Allah had breathed justice into the world alongside creation. But she was not alone. Other deities rose in the heavens, gods of thunder and war, of fire and rain. Some sought to challenge her authority, to shape the world in their own image. One among them, the god of chaos, sought to undo what she had built, stirring disorder where there had been peace. But Allah's will was unyielding. She pressed her hand upon the land, and the earth trembled in response. The rivers obeyed her calls, the trees bent to her will, and the mountains stood as a stillness witness to her power. Balance had been restored. Thus, the world was set into motion, and with it the cycle of life and death. From the soil the first humans were shaped, molded from the sacred ground that was Allah herself. She gave them the wisdom of the ancestors, the knowledge of right and wrong, and the power of choice. But she also gave them responsibility to honor the land, to respect its laws, and to live in harmony with all that she had created. And so the world began, bound forever to the will of Goddess who shaped it. The rivers carried her name, the forest whispered her presence, and the people, whether they remembered or not, walked always upon the skin of the Great Mother, Allah. Even now, Allah watches. Her presence is not confined to ancient stories or forgotten altars. She lingered in the wind that rustled through the sacred groves, in the whispers of the elders who passed down her name, in the firm soil that holds the bones of ancestors. She is eternal, an ever-present force that neither time nor forgetfulness can erase. She has not faded into myth. Her presence lingers in ritual performed by elders who offer sacrifices to ensure peace and prosperity. Farmers still whisper prayers before planting their seeds, knowing that to dishonor the land is to invite famine. Her role as the judge of the dead continues, as traditional burial rites call upon her to accept the spirits of the worthy. Graves are consecrated in her name, ensuring that the souls of departed find rest within her embrace. Even in the age of cities and technology, her hand remains upon the land. The world may build towers that touch the sky, may pave roads over sacred ground, but laws of the earth remain unchanged. Traditional rulers and concealed still invoke her name in matters of justice. When disputes arise over land, when betrayal poisons the hearts of men, when oaths are broken, her judgment is called upon. The Igbo people say the land never forgets. Those who wrong Allah do not escape, for the earth carries the memory of every deed. Generations pass, but the ancestors remain beneath the soil, watching, waiting. The wind carries their whispers, and those who listen understand. Allah does not sleep. Her principles of truth, fairness, and justice have seeped into the very fabric of Igbo culture. The fear of ancestral punishment keeps her presence alive, ensuring that moral transgressions do not go unanswered. The elders still warn that land can bless, but it can also curse. To betray the earth is to betray life itself. There are still those who scoff at the old ways, who believe that modernity has buried the gods. Yet when the rivers rise unacceptedly, when the earth shakes without warning, when the wind carries voices no human can name, the people remember, Allah has never left. To this day, breaking her sacred laws, results in severe consequences, not just spiritually but socially. Those who defy Allah are shunned, their names whispered in fear. The land itself may refuse to bear fruit for them, and misfortune will shadow their every steps. Crops may wither, families may fracture, and prosperity may slip through grasping hands like mist in the morning light. She's in the trees that stand as silent witnesses, in the rivers that remember every oath, in the soil that holds the weight of time. Her justice is neither swift nor hasty, but when it comes, it's absolute. The gods of old do not fade, they do not vanish, they live in the hearts of those who remember. Her presence is woven into very essence of the Igbo people. She is not confined to the past, nor is she a relic of forgotten myths. She is the earth beneath their feet, the whispers in the trees, the spirits in the rivers. Even as modern cities rise with roads paved over ancient lands and steel towers piercing the sky, Allah is there. She is lingered in the quiet places, in the rustling of leaves, in the rhythmic pounding of rain upon the ground, in the whispers of the elders who pass down stories in the flickering firelight. She exists in the space between night and dawn, between the old ways and the new world, between the past and future. The people may forget, catch up in the noise of present world, but the land never does. When men became careless, when greed and arrogance drive them to abuse the earth, when sacred oaths are broken and the land is defiled, Allah steers. Her warnings come first as a whispers, a drought that lingers, a restless wind that refuses to die. Then comes the heavier signs, floods that cleanse the earth, quakes that remind mankind of their place. Those who still listen understand the message. Allah does not sleep. She does not act in haste, nor does she seek vengeance without cause. But when she rises, it is with purpose. Her justice is slow, deliberate, and absolute. The world has seen this before, and it will see it again. There is an old saying among the Igbo: the land is patient, but it never forgets. For generations, the elders have passed down a prophecy, a warning, a promise, a truth yet to unfold. They speak of a time when men will no longer fear the gods, when the sacred groves will be cut down without tribute, when the rivers will run polluted, and the land will cry for justice. That is when Allah will rise. It will not be with war or thunder, nor will it come with fire or blood. It will come in silence, in the shifting of winds, in the breaking of the earth beneath careless feet. Those who have forgotten the old ways will tremble, not because they hear her coming, but because they will realize she never left. She has always been there, watching, waiting. The gods of men may rise and fall, but Allah is eternal. She is the land, and the land does not bow. And when the time comes, when men have forgotten to honor the land, when greed and arrogance rule the hearts of rulers once more, Allah will awaken.